There you go. Gotcha. I was pressing the wrong button.
Guests, Chrissy, and fellow club members, let me begin my speech with a riddle. This thing all things devour, birds, beasts, trees, flowers. Gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to meal. Slays king, ruins town, and beats high mountain down. Does anyone know what this is referring to? The answer is time. Time does all those things. So I'm working on a book that explores the order of society and the impact of time. Think of time as a mysterious spiritual force like providence or God. Time is eternal and relentless. It withers great civilizations, cripples the body, and dissipates hope. But time also brings opportunity as well as sadness. So the question is, what should we do with the time we are given? This question will be analyzed through a study of liberal democracy and its three sometimes conflicting principles: liberty, equality, and fraternity. Liberty, equality, and fraternity that's the national motto of France, and it has its origins in the French Revolution. Modern liberal democracies arose in the 1700s out of the blood and suffering of the American and French revolutions. Today I will discuss liberal democracy and the impact of time on political and personal liberty. In future speeches I will touch on equality and fraternity. So liberal democracy is a democratic form of government with constitutional protections that prescribe individual rights. Individual rights limit the government's power to invade people's private lives. A liberal democracy is different than a direct democracy where there are no built-in constitutional protections. In a direct democracy, the majority can oppress the minority. Some ancient Greek city-states were direct democracies. A liberal democracy prevents the majority from crushing certain liberties such as the freedom of speech, religion, and privacy. Liberty is another name for freedom. Freedom is the right to act according to your own personal will. The founding period of the United States provides an excellent case study of liberty in a political sense. After America's Revolution in the late 1700s, two men strode the American landscape like giants. That's Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson. They were very different in background and personality, but most importantly, their views on political liberty were in conflict. Hamilton and Jefferson fought an ideological war against each other over the implementation of newfound American liberty. Out of their epic clashes arose the two-party system in the United States. Hamilton led the Federalist Party in creating a stable financial system and solidifying a national government out of 13 separate and independent colonies. Jefferson led his Democratic Republican Party in restraining the influence of the national government by promoting state sovereignty and preserving a romantic agrarianism. And agrarianism is an emphasis on rural lifestyle as opposed to urban. So Hamilton succeeded in unifying the colonies and stabilizing the financial system. Yet in subsequent years, his party, the Federalist Party, was entirely defeated by the Democratic Republicans and eventually disbanded. Jefferson's Democratic Republicans, which later evolved into the modern Democratic Party, succeeded as a political force, but Jefferson's vision of brotherhood largely failed with the fall of the French Revolution. So in the end, events and the eternal march of time blunt the sharpness of ideology. Inevitably, utopian visions are met with disappointment. Time and history tell us that we should appreciate what we have and gradually and carefully work to improve it. To take things as they are, not as we want them to be. There is romance in reality, not just in utopian dreams. Now this is where the discussion of the good life comes into play. What does liberty and freedom mean to me? It means I can openly criticize my government without my friend or neighbor reporting me to a Kafkaesque tribunal for punishment. Freedom means I can escape the biting cold of a Michigan night and settle down by the fireplace with a good Charles Dickens novel without having the thought police burst in and throw my book in the fire. Freedom means I can raise my daughter in a society that does not treat her like a second-class citizen. Freedom allows us to spend our lives appreciating those little, everyday things that make life worth living. Things like a conversation with a friend, a good book, a glass of wine, and the dreams of our children. Life is captured in these moments, the very real, existential, and immediate world around us. Pay attention to it, embrace it, because time marches on. Properly functioning liberal democracies provide each of us with enough freedom to take in these precious little moments. Be thankful we live in a country that gives us the freedom to appreciate, aspire, and accomplish. So as we celebrate the new year, let us appreciate liberty and try to do some good with it.
Thank you, James. Our next speech, the objective is